Hey there, folks. It is Anne here with the Talking Apron podcast. I'm your host. I am the nutrition and wellness educator. I am the previous weight loss center owner. I live with type 1 diabetes. I'm a home cook, and I am your no-nonsense resource for healthier eating, confident home cooking, especially for those of you who are aiming to manage or prevent diabetes. So each week, I serve up some practical tips, some nutrition insights, and some real life strategies to help you take control of your health through your kitchen. Now, today we're spicing things up a little bit with a pantry staple that might just surprise you with its health potential and surprise you with its health risk. So, first, before we get started, you know what you need to do. Let's help our bodies out and go ahead and go grab your cuppa of water. We know that hydration is important for our health. It's important for our memory, for our brains, for our body, and especially for our blood sugar balance. So cinnamon, healthy or harmful? Now, this sweet, warming spice does more than flavor your oatmeal. It's a smart and simple way to support blood sugar balance when used mindfully. In this episode, we will cover, is it really good for blood sugar or is that a myth? Which type of cinnamon is best for your health and your pantry? How cinnamon's grown, harvested, processed, tips on how to buy and store and use cinnamon in a smart way, and to find out if it's harmful, and then delicious ways to use it beyond the sugar-loaded treats. So first, I want something sweet, but I know sugar spikes my blood sugar. So what do I do? Well, here's an answer that's pretty simple. Cinnamon is sweet. It gives you that flavor of sweetness without the sugar. Studies suggest it may help lower fasting blood glucose levels and improve insulin sensitivity. But it has to be when it's used regularly and in small amounts, half to a teaspoon per day. It is not a magic bullet. It is not, oh, you've got type 2 diabetes? Have sugar. Have cinnamon. No. Helpful, but it's not the cure-all. But it could be a good tool to support better blood sugar when paired in a healthy diet. Here's a snapshot of the nutrition of it, but then we have the persnickety, is it really? So you want to stay tuned for that. Is it really? So per teaspoon, cinnamon has 6 calories, 2 grams of carbs. It has antioxidants, which are polyphenols. It has anti-inflammatory compounds, cinnamaldehyde, and it's naturally sodium-free, cholesterol-free, and it's low on the glycemic index. Okay, but I've heard there are different types of cinnamon. Does it matter which one I use? Yes, it does. And here's how things get a little bit spicy and flavorful, and not in a good way. So, Cassia cinnamon, that's Cassia, that's the most common kind in the U.S. grocery stores. It's a bold flavor. It is cheap. Usually it's manufactured in China, but it's high in this compound called coumarin, Coumarn, which in large amounts can be harmful to our liver. All right, are you listening to that? So all of you that are having a tablespoon of cinnamon a day because you think it's going to cure your type 2 diabetes, pay attention. Large amounts of regular cinnamon can be harmful to the liver. So we got to be mindful of that. So what's the option? Well, then you may have read or seen on labels Ceylon cinnamon. This is the true cinnamon. It's milder, has a softer texture and flavor, and it's safer for regular use. It is worth the extra cost if you use cinnamon daily. But here's the deal. Ceylon cinnamon doesn't have that blood sugar lowering effect that Cassia cinnamon does, because it doesn't have that coumarin. It's from a different tree bark, all right? But it is high and higher than the traditional cinnamon in those wonderful antioxidants. That's awesome. So put Ceylon cinnamon in your oatmeal every day. You're getting antioxidants. Whoop-de-doo. That's great. Now, shelf life. Ground cinnamon is best 6 to 12 months. Wait, rewind. Those big containers, even though the small ones may be more expensive, you may be saving money, because if you don't bake a lot and you have cinnamon after a year, you're basically putting fried dust with no flavor on your meals. So you do want to keep tasting and smelling the cinnamon to make sure it hasn't, I won't say gone bad, but it dries up. It's an organic product. So you want to make sure you keep it in a cool, dry place. And basically, that's not in the drawer or cabinets that's right next to the oven, because that goes up and down in temperature. Or back of a cabinet near the refrigerator exhaust, all right? Now, cinnamon sticks is a little different. Because they are more of a whole product, they can last 2 to 3 years, which is awesome. So if you buy a bottle and it has 5 or 6 and you only use 2 or 3 at the holiday time, you can use it again the next season. Now, what if you're thinking, I don't know how to add cinnamon to my meals without baking or putting it in my oatmeal? What do I do? Well, cinnamon isn't just for apple pie. If you go to Africa and you have some of those African stews, or India, they use cinnamon and a little bit of clove, because clove gives sweetness too. So here are some fresh ideas of how to use cinnamon. Yes, we talked oats, chia pudding, plain yogurt. Okay, how about if you mix it into some nut butter and then you put it on an apple slice? What if you add it to your smoothies or sprinkle it into coffee or tea? Now, I had this coffee pot, I think it was a Ninja, came with a recipe for Mexican coffee, and you made a big batch, but that had cinnamon, a little bit of clove, and cayenne pepper. That was terrific coffee. So make it with the grounds ahead of time. So if you put in a teaspoon of cinnamon with your 1 or 2 scoops of coffee, no, it's not going to drain right. It's going to be way too much. So you need to make a bigger batch, at least a cup of the ground coffee. Now, you can also pair cinnamon with the roasted sweet potatoes. That'll add sweetness. Carrots, even butternut squash. Now, how about if you blend a little bit into chili? I do that because you have the hot of the chili flakes and you have the cooling of the cinnamon. You can put it in lentil stew. I've even put it into beef stew. It adds a little bit of depth of flavor. So how is cinnamon harvested? Well, this is something you probably won't do. Personally, you don't grow trees that are cinnamon trees that have bark. So cinnamon is harvested from the inner bark of cinnamon trees. Farmers cut the branches and they carefully scrape off the outer bark. Then the inner bark curls and rolls as it dries. And those are your cinnamon sticks. It's a century-old, hands-on kind of process. And it's done in Sri Lanka, which is Ceylon, and Southeast Asia. So, a little bit of a commercial here. I've lived with diabetes for over 15 years, and I don't like living on insulin and having to count my carbs. I do not. So I have something out there for those of you who are diagnosed with pre-diabetes or worried about getting diabetes, or maybe you're just even on the path and you want to prevent. I've got a free guide that's called the 10 Questions All Newly Diagnosed Pre-Diabetics Ask. And the answers actually helped. Now, the link for this guide is in the show description, and you can go ahead and get that now. Look at the show description. Actually, don't shut off the podcast. Keep listening to get that. But I formulated this for some quick wins for what you can do right now as you try to figure out and navigate what's going on with you if you're someone that has prediabetes. All through foods, all through lifestyle changes. So here's a quick little win for sweetness. In the afternoon, you might get hungry, you might be in a low, and you're looking for that cookie, those crackers, etc. If you just have a little snack, cottage cheese with a little cinnamon in it, slice up some pear, use that to dip, maybe put a little almond butter. You're going to be eating a little bit later, or maybe you're going out to dinner and it's 3 or 4 and you're not eating till 7. Third of a cup, cottage cheese, just a little something. But that cinnamon just adds that bit to where it's not drab. That you really want to eat it. Now remember at the beginning of the podcast, is cinnamon helpful or harmful? Well, once I'd written this podcast and I was having a conversation with my sister and we were talking about cinnamon, she brought up the fact that harvesting cinnamon because of environmental factors, some products, depending where they are in the world, have a lot of lead in them. And what I've done is I've attached the link to Consumer Reports into the description of this podcast. Or if you're listening on and watching on YouTube, I'll have it in the description of YouTube, and I'll also post it on social media. I can't go into the descriptions of what products are good or bad or whatever, but if you have small children, or if you yourself know you already have some high heavy metals, pay attention to what product you are buying and what products are safe to use. And, they tested over 36. I don't want to go and pinpoint and pick, and you read it. So I am leaving the link for you so you can make those choices yourself. So I want to thank you today for spending time with me with the Talking Apron. And my hope is that you leave this episode feeling a little bit more confident, a little bit more cared for, and a lot less alone on this journey to eat healthier, prevent diabetes, reverse diabetes, lower your A1C, just being healthier. That's a really good thing. And every small step that you take in your own kitchen is better than the day before. And I'm not talking revamp every single meal. No, there are some pretty good products out there. There are some fast ways to buy vegetables. I'm just saying, through your kitchen, small steps, make some improvements, adds up to some powerful changes in your health life. So keep listening, keep showing up, keep stirring the pot. Follow, find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook, and look forward to hearing about my new membership called Kitchen Table Talk coming up. So, your health is worth the effort, and you are absolutely capable of making changes that matter. And if this episode gave you something to think about, please hit subscribe so we can keep the conversation going every week. And don't forget to grab your copy of the 10 questions all newly diagnosed pre-diabetics asked. I so appreciate it. With love and care. See ya.